Okay, so I want to talk about the new Google Lens and the AR for it.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty cool. So you can actually pull out the Google Lens at a restaurant and point it at a menu, and it's going to automatically tell you what the top meals are, which is great when you're ordering dim sum, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
And
And
it will
then,
show pictures too. That's what I saw. So,
yes.
one of the neat things they said, we want your Google Lens to be like a virtual browser. So imagine that you do have AR glasses on. Now, they're not bringing out any new AR glasses. They didn't talk about it, but they said imagine that you're looking through these lenses and it's like you have a browser in the real world. So you look at the menu and not only will it highlight like what the food and translate the food for you, so it's like if it's in Mandarin, it will translate and will tell you what it is, and then it will have pictures of what it is. It will have links to recipes for how to make it yourself. It will have videos. And so you're like, "Oh, I don't really know what this oh, that's chicken feed," right? Like
I have a
it
story for you.
it's cool.
One time I was in Beijing and I just was so hungry. I woke up in the morning from my hostel and I walked outside and I just walked into a restaurant that seemed popular. And I sat down and I couldn't read the menu at all. I mean, it's not surprising I was in China, but I kind of felt like I could look at the pictures and there were pictures on the menu and I
Yeah.
felt like I could just point to what I wanted. But it was so foreign. Everything looked so crazy for breakfast
You're like,
that
I don't know.
I had no idea what to order. And it would have been great to have this Google Lens here
Yeah.
telling me what the top things were, the prices. And what I ended up doing was I just ended up grunting to the people. I said, and I did like what motions like what should I buy? What should I buy? And they just brought me all this stuff, and I think it ended up being like $30 or $40 because they brought me all of these things. They're like, oh, the foreigner is gonna buy all these things. And
Foreigners.
it ended up being good, but it was bizarre. I had
Yeah.
like noodles for breakfast and shrimp. Like it was not a normal breakfast, you know. What
Yeah.
I really wanted to tell them in Chinese was, please bring me a traditional breakfast, and it ended up being something entirely different. So
I think
this,
it's fantastic. I really like the idea of having AR browser, like another thing they talked about with Google Lens is you'll be able to look at furniture and it will identify and it will say you can buy this at IKEA or at Lowe's. And then you could say, well, I want to see what it looks like at my dining room table. And then it will put it at your dining room table in scale.
that would
So,
be cool.
it's cool stuff. And really, what Google in the keynote that they were talking about today is they said, look, we're not really coming out with much new hardware other than what we've already talked about, the Pixel 3s and the Hub Max. But they said, we are creating the glue of the future. Everything we're pulling together, artificial or augmented reality is the future. They need the apps. They need the searchability of these 3D objects. That's what they talked about as well. This when you search something, you can click on like pictures and videos, and soon there'll be 3D objects. And then
Cool.
you can have those 3D objects and you can manipulate them. It's going to be fascinating, and I can really see how Google's trying to get that glue ready so that when those augmented reality glasses come out that can fit on our faces without being tethered, we're ready to go.